What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Backyard Dad YouTube channel. In today's video, we've got the 21 Tundra pulled into the garage, and we're going to change out to the new Bilstein 6100 series shocks. I've got just a stock suspension on this Tundra right now, and this will aid in some lift height and some carrying capacity with the new added winch that I recently did on the front. You can check out some of my other videos. But with this Bilstein shock, it's got a bottom collar on it that allows you to adjust the ride height, at least from first build. Once it's on the truck, you can't change that, right? So I've got these set at a 2-inch mark. I had these pre-built and shipped to me, so the install should hopefully be pretty easy. We'll go through the details of it as we get going. I'll admit this is not a exact how-to guide. I've never done it on a Tundra before. I have done it on Tacomas, Jeeps, 4Runners in the past, and so I'm hoping it's going to be a pretty simple install. Famous last words, but I'm kind of bringing you guys along for the ride. Maybe it'll help some of you out there with my trial and error of getting this thing installed. So let's jump right into the video. We'll get you zoomed in, and we got everything pulled apart, got this thing on jack stands. We'll start breaking it down and go from there. All right, guys, starting with the wrong way. I start by kind of loosening everything up on the top of the shock mount, right? There are 3 14mm bolts up there that I loosen up, and then the lower shock mount on the lower control arm here, right? I've got a lot of pressure on the body of this thing, so you've kind of got to work everything loose. I use a old trick here to use the Toyota bottle jack to force kind of that upper and lower control arm, that whole assembly down. Again, I use this on the old ways of doing things with the Tacomas, 4Runners that I did in the past, and it worked well. But after a lot of trial and error, it was kind of a bear to do that here. I'm pretty ignorant to the fact of what's coming, but ultimately I end up having to loosen the stabilizer bar. I move on here with the tie rod. Once I get everything loosened up, that allows me to kind of work that bottom nut loose, that bottom bolt I should say, and not damage the threads too bad. Once that's done, I can then finish loosening up those top of that shock mount and pull that whole assembly out. Comparing the new and the old shocks are really pretty astounding. The new Bilsteins is almost double the size just in that valving assembly. You can kind of see here the differences between the two size. Now, the new Bilstein comes with a 650-pound spring rate, which is obviously huge difference over the stock assembly. I recently added a winch to my truck, and so I'm running about 160 pounds more over stock. So having the new added weight capacity and the new lift capacity will kind of help with my ride quality and even out my stance. Now, as I get back to putting the new Bilstein in, as I mentioned earlier, I soon learned that getting everything kind of lined back up is going to be a heck of a lot harder than I originally thought. This lower shock just does not want to go in that lower control arm, and it takes several minutes to kind of understand that I am not getting anywhere with this setup. I turn, of course, to YouTube and find the right way to do everything. Let's cut back to the actual live action, and I'll show you kind of what I've got going on. All right, guys, it's installed. This is a video on how not to do a strut install. After some back and forth, I figured out that you have to drop this lower control arm. Not that difficult. You were loosening these front bolts there, and then if you can, get it off this back one. Now, I could not budge that one. That one was seized, and I could not move it. So I was able to manipulate the lower control arm just with this front bolt loosened up. I marked it, as you can see, and my marks are off. The marks are off. So I'm gonna have to go back and get it aligned. I'm gonna do my best to line that back up before I tighten it. But as you can see, everything is buttoned back up, torqued to spec. This one is 81 foot-pounds. This one is 51 foot-pounds. These lower control arms, that is a 221 foot-pounds. This shock, lower shock bolt here on the backside is 144 pounds. And then you've got 89 pounds there on that front stabilizer bar. Now that I know what the hell I'm doing, hopefully this helps somebody out there. So let's get going, get this buttoned up the rest of the way, line that cam up, and put the tire on and do the other side, and we'll be done. The correct way really starts by loosening up the lower ball joint and steering knuckle. They're 2 big 22mm bolts. If you live in the Rust Belt though, hitting everything with some PB Blaster ahead of time works wonders on this step. Unlike the other side though, you only really need to remove the bolt on the stabilizer end link, not where it attaches to the frame like I did. Once that's complete, the lower shock bolt gets loosened. To get enough pressure relief on this whole assembly, you need to loosen the front cam bolt. This will help relieve that pressure on the lower control arm. Be sure to mark your settings though. As you work the lower shock bolt out, you can see here where we've got plenty of wiggle room on that lower shock, or that lower control arm I should say. I go ahead and proceed by loosening up those top bolts on the shock assembly. And as I quickly learn, the tie rod end is in the way. So obviously from the passenger side, I've got some good experience removing that tie rod end to allow myself clearance to get the shock assembly out. The putback is really just much of the same, obviously in reverse order. The biggest struggle I had was getting that lower control arm to align up with the lower shock assembly so that I can get everything lined up in the cradle. This took a little bit of time to kind of get everything pushed down and worked into place. It went much easier though than the passenger side. Once that's complete, the remaining work is really just lining up bolt holes and getting everything aligned. Now the bottom ball joint and knuckle is kind of challenging, but in my case I was able to remove the doubled up support I had with the floor jack and put it under the lower control arm here, right? Once I did that, that allowed me to line everything back up, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility on getting everything put into place. Once I get everything tightened, I do take some time and torque everything down. I'll put a link in the description for proper torque settings via some of the other forums assemblies that you can find online. Ultimately, this whole process took about 45 minutes to an hour and really went much smoother. I learned quite a few things, obviously, from my mishaps with the passenger side, and this is very easy for somebody to do once you spend some time watching some YouTube videos, or in my case, reading the directions. Of course, getting your tire put back on and bolts tightened in a star pattern. All right, guys, that is a wrap on this Tundra video. As you can see, everything is installed, and I showed you the wrong way to do it, which was this passenger side, and then I showed you the right way to do it, which is on the driver's side. Look, I thought Tacomas, 4Runners, everything, and for some reason Tundras would be the same. I don't know why, because I'm an idiot, typical guy, I guess. And here, I didn't read any instructions. It didn't come with any instructions, and I didn't really watch any YouTube videos. I just assumed everything. So, take that as a lessons learned. But obviously, you can see, I didn't really take a before and after measurements on anything, but it is definitely higher, obviously in the front, at least 2 inches. Now I've got the back half of the truck kind of off the main garage slab, so it may be exaggerated a little bit on this, but hey, I think it looks really good. I'm interested to see how it rides. My black truck, if you've seen in other videos, I've already have this Bilstein setup on my black truck, but again, that's a work truck. I bought that truck with that setup on it. I didn't install it, so I never went from stock to the Bilsteins. So I'll give you guys my driving impressions of it in a later video. Again, I went with the 3rd clip on this particular Bilstein setup. I didn't want to go to the 4th clip. There's 4 clips. The 4th clip is 2.5 inches. My black truck has that. I feel like it's a little bit too sprung, if that makes sense. There's probably a better term for it, but it just seems too stiff in the front. So I'm hoping with that 2 inches, that 3rd clip setting at, I think it's actually the spec is 1.9 inches. But I'm hoping at that setting, again, with the heavier duty coils, which I mentioned earlier, these are 650-pound coils in them versus obviously the stock ride height coils are not rated for that. So really going to help the weight capacity with the winch up front. As I mentioned in previous videos, this adds about 160 pounds to the front of the truck. So I think it looks great so far. I'll give you guys an update. I do have the rears to install on the back axle. I'm not going to show you that on the video. That's super simple to do. Jack up the truck, let the axle hang, and screw and unbolt and rebolt back in, right? So not a big deal there. So anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful on showing you what not to do. Learn from my stupid mistakes. Don't assume anything. Look at some YouTube videos. Obviously, you are looking at this one if you're in the market and doing this for your truck. So hit the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on future Toyota Tundra content in the coming weeks. Appreciate your support, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.